have to... There we go. All right. We are back testing Monoblack. I played a couple games of a league this morning. Really enjoyed the deck. I played some practice games yesterday. Won a lot of games that I didn't think I would. Nothing too surprising here. I'm on 1 Dismember, 20 lands, 4 trolls. I think a lot of people play 2 Dismember, 3 trolls, so this way they can have the requisite 20 lands. I kind of wish I could play another Dismember. I was on 19 lands previously, but it seemed like I was still having trouble hitting lands on time. So I went down to 1. We'll see if that sticks. I might just go to 3 trolls like everyone else. Didn't see any of this deck list show up in the Japanese and Asian results for Eternal Weekend this weekend, but I don't know why. This deck has felt pretty good for me. Sideboard, I cut the 4th Surgical Extraction from one of the lists I saw in order to cut the Palantir so I can play 2 Court of Lochthwain because I think it might be, I don't know, kind of cooler. Otherwise, everything is pretty standard. There's 2 Null Rods, 2 Feed the Swarm in case you need additional removal, and also it lets you sinkhole someone's Urza Saga. 3 Torok for these white heavy removal decks. 3 Plague Engineer for all the decks where that is particularly good. Goblins. In fact, probably a couple other spots I can't think of right now. If anyone has any insight on how to sideboard with this deck a little more specifically, I would appreciate that. But I'm going to try and figure out how to resume a league now. League, 2 wins, 0 losses. I beat Paradoxical Outcome like 8 cast earlier, and I beat a Monoblack Pseudo Mirror. They had notably Hymn to Torok, and I do not. I've considered some number of Hymn to Torok as well after that match. It's just a nice 2-for-1. Otherwise, the games were very close. The games were all very close, and they were very good. So I was pretty happy. So we're going to play match. Otherwise, it's been a pretty busy weekend. I was out all day Friday. Today I was busy almost the entire day assembling parts for our computer. So hopefully I'll have a new computer ready to go by this week sometime, so I can play WoW Classic Season of Discovery on my new computer. Because I need the best possible hardware available to play my 20-year-old MMO. Still have thermal paste stuck on my thumb from attaching the cooling unit to the processor. What else? All right, here we go. Okay. Let's make this a little larger. There we go. All right. I did not win the die roll. What do we have here? Wasteland. Otherwise, some pretty good stuff. I don't think this hand is playable because I cannot cast my Dark Ritual, so we're going to mulligan. This hand is Swamp. We have Troll as a second mana source. Dark Ritual to do something explosive. Wondering what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to keep. And then I'm going to put Shieldred on the bottom. Only because we're so far off casting it. I could cast it turn 2 if I save the Dark Ritual and I Swamp Cycle on turn 1. Yeah, it looks like I might regret putting that Shieldred on the bottom. Because it looks like another either 8 cast deck or the Paradoxical, not Paradoxical, Mystic Forge deck. Emery. Okay, so it's another 8 cast deck. So it looks like my agent's going to get pitched to the grief here. And I think they're going to bobble me. Nope. Oh, they don't want to lose the card to a grief because they're probably playing around that. Okay, so what are we going to do? I can lead on Dark Ritual, Voidwalker, Swamp Cycle, and then I can Grief, Exile, Agent. Next turn, I can use the Swamp off the Troll to play a Bowmaster to kill the Emery. So I think I'm going to do that. Well, I'm playing the Swamp regardless. I think I'm going to... And I want to put the Void... Okay, I want to exile something good with the Voidwalker. So I think I'm going to lead Dark Ritual, Voidwalker. Then I'm going to Grief, exile the Agent. Put this on the stack, target them, see what happens. Saga Tomb. So that's a bummer that I pitched the Agent, but it is what it is. We have a little bit of information now. I think I just mulliganed incorrectly, and I think that's going to hurt me this game. Okay, so they just want to look at my last card, which I think is a pretty cool play. Especially when they're going to know 50% of my hand. The Voidwalker's kind of going to proactively neuter the Emery, but I'm still going to get rid of the Emery here when I have a chance on my turn. So they're going to get a card off this bauble, get a card for their draw step. I think they're going to play Saga here. Alright, so they're playing a bauble. So now they're just trying to cycle through their deck probably before I can play a Bowmaster. Especially since I know about the Bowmaster. Wondering what they're thinking about. Probably on their land sequencing. Because they're... Oh, it might be their Emery target. So is that a... Bauble was already in play. Petal from the graveyard. Okay, so they're playing their Saga. I wonder if they're thinking about something like how much damage are they going to take overall over the course of these turns with their Ancient Tomb. Thought Monitor. They definitely have to play this before I can stick a Bowmaster. So they would have drawn a lot of cards before I could even land a Shieldred. Doesn't really excuse it. But Agent has so many matchups he's poor in, and they need exactly Saga for Agent to be good. And even still, the Saga is going to do a lot of damage by making tokens. So there's their Opal. Instead, my turn. I can't do anything. I don't have a Dark Ritual. Upkeep, draw my card. Well, I don't want to play any of those cards, so I'm just going to be attacking. I think this is a Voidwalker, is a Leyline of the Void, unblockable 3/2. We don't have any baubles in the effect zone. I think just upkeep, I'm gonna play Bowmaster. Actually, I'll be reactive with the Bowmaster even if they know about it. I might regret it if I get Force of Willed, because the rest of my hand is just so low action. See the Synod. Targeting Mishra's Bauble. I think the Bowmaster is going to be targeting their face a lot, just to clock them harder. They're going to play their Bauble from the graveyard. Combat, I will not block that 2 damage. Well, they're not going to... I guess they want to block... Well, targeting me, that's fine. End step. I will just play it here. I just need to use my mana. Hardcasting Force of Will? I guess that was a danger. Or they're thinking better of it. So now they're locked out of the Grim Monolith. Less than ideal. They might have drawn that for turn, so that might be, or that might have punished me. I don't remember when they played the Opal. They played Opal last turn. Okay. So they still had, oh, they had blue up when they played this for turn though. So that is a thing. That's the difference. We're gonna attack for 3. Play this. Hope for the best. They're gonna go to 8 off the tomb, I guess. They're gonna make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off of the saga, 7 if they make a token. And now they're avoiding using the Ancient Tomb. So they have another Ancient Tomb in their hand as well. What are they going to get? Pithing Needle Name Voidwalker? Or a Spear? It's Speared, go to 6, equipping it to the construct, and then automatically win the race. Which is pretty bad. I don't know if they main deck Spear. Depending on the version, they could main deck Spear. Would probably be pretty good here. Oh, Spellbomb. So do they have another, do they have a red source? They played that, the Synod. They're attacking me 1, 11, put me to 9. No blocks. Go to 9. What do I want to get here? Agent is a day late. Major bummer. Play Saga for turn. I don't think there's too much I can do. Put them to 5. I think this game's just done. Monolith will not untap. What are they doing? Oh, they're casting one. I thought they were trying to untap it. I'm like, they need 4 mana for that. How are they doing this? 2 9/9s. I'll concede to that. Okay. Let's try again. What are we going to bring in? I want to bring in Feed the Swarms and Null Rods. What do I want to bring out? I think this is a deck that is fairly redundant. I don't think the Thoughtseizes are at their best here. I think the Grief can still be a little okay as like a clock. Efficient answer to Emery is really nice. Also, why I've wanted a second copy is just having a one-man answer. I think the Thoughtseizes overall are pretty poor here. And I think these are just much better. Thoughtseize is going to be nice to clear the way for a Null Rod or something. So maybe I kind of want to leave a couple seizes in, cut 2 Griefs. I think Grief is like a pretty decent power play, especially on the play though. I think Thoughtseize might be a little better on the draw, so we're going to bring those in for game 3, and we're going to remove some of the Griefs for game 3 as well. Switch them back with Thoughtseizes. Would I like to play first? I would love to play first. Okay, so it's the first time I've ever drawn Taknuma. What do we have here? Looks like Swamp Cycle, play a Dothy Voidwalker. We have Bowmasters. Grief notably looking pretty bad. Can I do better? I think there's actually a lot better hands here. This is Swamp, almost no castables, so I think I'm going to mulligan again, especially on the play. I think I can just have a better hand. We have Feed the Swarm, Edict, Reanimate, Grief. So I think I'm going to put Wasteland, Edict on the bottom. Well, we're going to keep. What am I putting on the bottom? We're putting Edict on the bottom. And then what do I want? I can put Feed on the bottom. I think I'm supposed to put Wasteland on the bottom and just hope to draw another land. And I leave myself with Feed, so this way I can tag an Emery or an Urza Saga. I'm going to do this. Upkeep. Main phase. I will Grief, Exile, Edict. Not playing a land for not any particular reason, but I guess just to conceal information. Look at what you have. They have a Force of Negation, and a Thoughtcast, and an Ancient Tomb. So I have to take the Force here so I can take their next best card. So I'm going to take the Force. I'm going to play my Swamp. Now they can't force me, and I'm going to reanimate my Grief. Go to 16. I'm going to take... I don't think the Repeal is going to get a chance to do anything here. Lotus Petal's redundant mana with Seats and Tombs. I'm going to take Thoughtcast, so this way I take all of their reasonable gas. They can repeal their own Petal, though. Yeah, this is their hand. And my Feed is looking pretty silly here, but their hand doesn't do a ton, so I'm not sure who's sillier. I think they might just cycle to Repeal, which isn't really a bad use case for Repeal, but not the best. Okay, Troll is pretty decent. We're going to go combat. I'm going to attack with my Grief. I think I am going to cycle the Troll. They've played Seat. I'll leave the Petal, because they're probably going to... And I can do this at their end step, just making sure I don't skip through anything. Yep, they're going to repeal that. That is fine. Really hoping I can cycle this and then find an All Rod. Upkeep. No repeal anymore. Petal again. It's fine. Second Seat. Pyrite Spellbomb. Okay. Swamp Cycle. Get a Swamp. Go to my turn. I'm just going to attack, try and induce the Spellbomb on this Grief. They're pretty patient, so I don't think they will. Main phase, I'll play another Swamp. I don't think I want to play the Voidwalker out yet. I could. So they have a Tomb. What is the worst case? They just use the Spellbomb on the Walker, which kind of stinks, but I also don't want to lose my mana. They're going to use the bomb anyway. This kind of plays into it, but it does eat a Lotus Petal, so it does kind of starve them mana. So I will play the Voidwalker here, I think. If they have to use the bomb on the Voidwalker, it exiles it for Emery later. This kind of keeps up my clock. It really does force action with the spell bomb because now they're going to go to 8, then they're going to go to 2 if they take no actions with this bomb. And this is a pretty costly bomb to use considering it's giving up 2 cards because it's using the entire petal. Doesn't look like they're opting to do it. Also, it exiles both of them. Okay, here's a Bauble. Pretty good for them. Also puts me in a decent spot to contest something like if they play a Kappa Cannoneer, which is largely seems like it's fallen out of favor. Okay, so there's the Tomb. So what are they going to do with that? End step. Okay. Keep. Ooh. Okay, so they already drew their card off that, so that's pretty fun. And we have the Bauble in exile. Okay. We're going to go to combat. I'm just going to attack. Because I think this Bowmaster threatens to kill them if they take no actions here. Or maybe not kill them, but put them in a very bad spot. Okay, they're going to 8, so now the Bowmaster and the 2 creatures in play threaten to kill them in next combat. Bowmaster looking pretty good here too, if they feel like they're going to pull back into the game with a Thought Monitor or a Thoughtcast. Really forces them to have Force of Will. Or use something with the Spell Bomb. They definitely have options. This tomb is looking pretty weak to the 3/2s. Another ancient tomb. Very bad news for them unless they play ring, because this is deals damage. I found this out earlier today. This deals damage. It isn't life loss, so the ring protects you from it, which I think is a pretty cool interaction. Very legacy moment kind of thing. So maybe Grief stays in game 3, just because it's pressure and disruption, because they're so redundant. Ooh, PO. Um, I will respond with this. Hopefully they don't have blue card force. Them. They're at 6 because they used a tomb. They're trying to bounce these. So now if they want to use these to kill the Bowmaster, it uh, makes it so the outcome doesn't bounce anything. There. There. I'm doing very bad on clock, by the way. Oh, okay. We're going to begin sideboarding. So yeah, this might just be a matchup where I'm not too impressed with Thoughtseize overall. Just because they're so redundant, Grief can at least contribute to a clock. Grief is only good with Reanimate, though. So I might be trying to look for fewer moving pieces while on the draw because they have the initiative much more. The initiative in the matchup, not the initiative game mechanic. Very tough. I really have no idea. It's kind of nice to be able to have Grief to clear the way and to stick a Null Rod on the same turn, especially when Null Rod matters as much as it does in this matchup. So I might just stick with the Griefs and just take the Thoughtseizes out. This might be a matchup where I need to pressure instead of pick apart and 1-for-1 because they have so many 2-for-1s and so many redundant pieces. It might just be better to have the Grief pressure, especially when they can make 1 token. They're pretty often they're either going to have 2 massive creatures that are going to kill me in 1 turn, or 2 turns, or they're going to have not enough things to block the menace. Also, 4 mana when I see repeal game 2, hitting 4 mana to bounce a Grief with a repeal to stave off like damage is a lot harder than the alternatives. What do we got here? It's a very fair hand for on the draw against a deck that's very, I want to say not too fair. Bowmaster is really nice to contest all the baubles. Agent is really nice against any sort of the Urza Saga stuff, but it's just a bunch of trolls. This is definitely like a 4-land hand. I think I'm going to mulligan. I think I do a little better. So we have Voidwalker now and Troll double Agent. I'm going to put a Swamp back, keep this. I don't think I can go to 5. So we're going to keep it. I'm going to put the Swamp back, and I'm going to say done. Because at least I can play a turn 2 Agent. It's not pretty, but I also get a draw step. I have a feeling their hand is very good, though. This is Emery. No, Monolith. Wow. 3. Second Monolith. So we're setting up PO and this. I wonder if PO is their last card. And they've exiled their own petal because they had to. I wonder if they would have preferred to exile their own bauble. End step, they're going to get a card off the bauble. Cracking the bubble when they have a PO, though, is pretty strange. I wonder if they just want to empty their hand because they're so afraid of getting double griefed and not having any monoliths in play. I'm just going to hold like this. A swamp cycle during their turn. Emery's pretty good. I have the edict for it, though, so that's very fortunate. They have 2 cards. Combat. End step. Oh, Swamp Cycle. Get my swamp. Yep, go to my turn. Upkeep. Main phase, second Void Walker. Going to be really nice to go Walker Agent, I guess, or Walker Walker. Because here I'm just going to Edict this. I don't want them to get anything off the bobble. Sacrifice a non-token creature. I always check myself that I'm selecting the correct mode on this because real life it's so much easier. So they had no blue card force, not even force negation. I don't know if it was correct to try and play around force negation when I saw it game 2, but I chose not to. I chose not to let them untap at least. I guess I should have. I think I should have upkeeped it anyway because they still wouldn't be able to hardcast either. Urza Saga. Okay, so I have the agent right on time for that. Draw Feed the Swarm. That's pretty good too. Or Wasteland here. Combat. Main phase. Looks like they're leaning hard on this, so I'm really hoping. Step. Yep, go to my turn. Upkeep. Another agent. So I'm going to play my Swamp. Just going to stick a Void Walker, get the unblockable creature down. I'll use the agent to try and get their thing next turn, their trigger. Because here they're going to go up to 2. Next turn they're going to go up to 3, but hopefully I'll have an agent by then. Yeah, it looks like they're all in on this Saga. And it's probably going to cost them a lot to make a token with it too, because they have to use the Monolith unless they play a land here. And they're using the Monolith, so they're casting... Ooh, they're casting Thoughtcast. That is fine. I'm going to pop out my Exile Zone. Or my accessible Exile Zone. They've drawn 2 cards. They have 2 colorless, so they might just be making a token at sorcery speed. That is fine. They're all in, I think, on the Construct plan. And I'm going to agent their Saga, hopefully. Go to my turn. Draw a Grief here is pretty nice. Upkeep. Okay. Yeah, sorry, just wondering if I'm missing anything. Okay, so I can cycle my Troll, get another Swamp, and play Swamp for turn. They're not going to be able to make a second token, actually, which is really interesting. I think I'm just going to do this now. I don't think there's a reason to wait, and I don't think there's a reason not to do it now. So I think I'm going to begin to clock them. Because I think that's the best thing to do with the Void Walker this game. Especially when they're going to try and gum up the board with these larger than my creature tokens. Okay. Going to go to their turn. I'm going to take their Chapter 3 off the Saga. Which, this is extremely fun, by the way. They're going to float 2 mana. Are they going to try and repeal? Spatial Contortion? That's insane. I did not expect that. Cool. So they get to look now. I was hoping I would get all the information from controlling them during this search. And I don't think I had a way to play around that. I think they're going to get an Opal here because they need mana so badly. Ooh, Manifold Key. So they can play a land now to untap the Monolith. I really want to draw Null Rod. I will take 6. Another Troll. Do I want to use my... play a second Voidwalker and just get a Thoughtcast? That concedes giving... They missed a land. So if I can do that, I think I'm going to do that. Play a second Voidwalker. Use this Voidwalker to cast their Thoughtcast, which will go to exile again with my own Voidwalker. Because I think I need to try and find Wasteland or something. I'm going to choose the Thoughtcast. I'm going to cast the Thoughtcast. Just to draw 2 cards. This might be a really poor use of a Thoughtcast. Ooh, Reanimate. And a Shieldred. So what can I reanimate? I can reanimate Troll. And stabilize with Shieldred the following turn. So they don't have anything worth taking. I can play Troll and try and trade off Troll with the token. We're gonna cycle. Get another Swamp. Play Swamp for turn. This is a pretty big risk because if they play any other artifact, the token will no longer trade with Troll, and then it'll deal 7 to me after I take 6. Or I can reanimate Dothy Voidwalker. Troll's also a big clock. They'll be taking 9. And then Shieldred can trade off with the Construct every time. So I might do that. Just do this. Oh man. I didn't even pay attention to that. I think I threw this game away because of that. That's such a shame. I can't believe I did that. Lantern in play. I still get to continue Voidwalkering them and land a Shieldred next turn. They're kind of slowing down the clock now that they're not under as much pressure, but I really played right into that. That's so silly. I even commented about it. I really want to wasteland that Otawara. Or null rod them. I also would just love to null rod them. Feed this one's also very good. It just kills the construct and I lose 0 life. I'll take 5, go to 9. Wow, they have 4 cards in their hand. None of them are artifacts, else they would have pre-combated them. They can be expensive though. Untap, draw, dismember. I can go to 5, dismembering the construct. I'll play Shieldred first. They'll probably counter it if they can. And they did not. I think it's worth it because they can't generate an artifact at instant speed. I'll pay my life, pay this. Because now I can, worst case, block the construct. Okay. Now I feel like I'm in a good spot. Now we're just going to clock them. I'm going to try and get this game over with now after I almost threw it away. I'm still in the process of attempting to throw it away. I have 8.5 minutes on my clock. They have 14.5. I'm definitely behind. They're untapping their monolith. But I have Shieldred in case they untap and PO. They're going to take extra damage off this. I think they feel the pressure now. Which is completely reasonable because they are under a ton of pressure with Shieldred Voidwalker. All their graveyard synergies are ruined with Voidwalker. All their card draw is ruined with Shieldred. If they can't win this turn, I think they die on the following. Or effectively die. Very close to die. Blue, untap Monolith. I wonder if they're going to play Ring. 3, 6. Paradox Engine. Okay, this is part of what makes their deck work. So if they play a 1 or a 0 here, they get to untap all of their keys and Grim Monoliths. My black creatures are still very good here, so there's a lot working against them. They have to make a lot happen. But if there's anything that can get them out of this, it's all this colorless mana. Okay, the Reservoir is really going to help. This is like the same deck that I played against earlier today. Is this the same player? Hmm, it might be. Okay, so there's the ring. They're gaining a bunch of life, though. And it might be enough to offset. It's really going to be determined by what they draw at this point. They're going to get protection, which is pretty good. It's pretty good at staving off a little bit. They're still going to lose life because of the Shieldred, though. I'm just going to yield until the next end step. I have no actions to take. So instead of needing to click repeatedly, I'm just going to let them do it. It's interesting because every spell is going to generate a lot of life, but every ring is going to draw extra cards as they untap. There's the seat. Now they can repeal my Shieldred because they have so much mana to work with. Yep, there's the repeal. I think that reanimate might have killed me. When I could have just did something else with my mana. Or reanimated their Emery. Reanimate their Emery and find my Null Rod with it. Oh, this is so discouraging. I need to work on figuring out the range of keepable hands with this deck too. Like how many times can I just keep multiple 3/2s? We're going up to 3/4. I don't think they're going to run out of cards in their deck. They're at 53, so now they can reservoir me. All right, finally. Okay. It was not the same person, so we're gonna run it back. Go for the last round, or not the last round, the fourth round. I'm deciding if I'm gonna make it to modern tomorrow. I need to put my deck together still. So I want to play Cabal Coffers with the new Sunken Citadel, but I haven't had time today because I was building the computer for so long. All right. I have also lost the die roll. What do we got? Colorless land, black cards. I think I'm going to put this one back because I can't cast my spells. So we're going to mulligan. I have Swamp, Double Dark Ritual, Grief, or Triple Dark Ritual. Oof. So I'm going to put a Dark Ritual on the bottom, I guess. I'm on the draw. I think multiple Thought Seizes put a 3/2 into play is probably the best I can do with this. I don't think I can go to 5, and if I'm not in for doing Grief Reanimate on turn 1, I'm probably playing the wrong deck. So we're going to keep, and we're going to put Dark Ritual on the bottom, because 2 Dark Rituals is still pretty good. I'm going to say done. I'm going to hope I draw something good for my draw step, a good spell. Okay. Well, this is what it is. On the draw, mulligan to 6 to effectively myself. I think this is going to happen a lot at Eternal Weekend. This is similar to a game I had against the black deck earlier where they went turn 1, Dark Ritual, Swamp Cycle, Reanimate, and my turn 1 was going to be Dark Ritual, Voidwalker, Thoughtseize. So mine would have been pretty good against theirs, but now that we're doing the same thing, obviously whoever's on the play is probably favored. They took my Reanimate, which is definitely bad for me. Underground Sea, so this is just blue black scam. Reanimate their guy. Pretty good. Probably going to take my Thoughtseize here, leave me with a bunch of mana. So then we're going to go into my turn with 5 cards. I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to daze me? Because I'm planning on, if I don't draw anything good, I was just going to Thoughtseize them. So I think they might daze my Ritual. Begin combat. My turn. Upkeep. Thoughtseize. Okay, so that's pretty good. Gonna go Black Source, Black, Thoughtseize them, see what's going on. Ponder or Edict? I only have one creature. Ponder is something I would like to take, but I think I just want to take their removal so I can attempt a Dark Ritual out my Grief. Alright, let's leave them with that. I don't really think I'm supposed to take the Ponder there, but because I don't think I'm supposed to Edict them. I can always take whatever they get off the Ponder in their draw step with my Grief. I'm going to go to 15. I think I'm going to go to 12 before I can get a combat step. Go to my turn. They played the Misty and the Ponder. Draw. Troll's pretty decent. I can't play it. So I think I'm going to ensure that I can play a second land, I'm going to lead with Swamp Cycle, Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual. Because if I try to use the 5th mana off of double Dark Ritual, I can just get my first Dark Ritual dazed or something and be a little stuck. Dark Grit, Dark Grit. This might be a pretty poor use of Dark Grit, but here's my Grief. Okay, Force. Oh. Brainstorm with a Misty is pretty good. Water Graves, so they probably have Death Shadows in their deck. Upkeep, draw, reanimate. Okay. What am I going to do with that? If I get back the Troll, I'm going to 6, and I'm dead in 2 turns. I guess if I take the Grief, I'm not winning the race. So am I more likely to just draw Dismember or Sheoldred's Edict and then not have a counterspell? I think that's the angle I have to play for here. I just have to hope that Troll is enough. Yield no till next end step. I can draw Bowmaster, Edict, or Dismember, I think, in order to win this Grief race. Can't block, it does Menace. Because Bowmaster lets me double block. Troll. Let's go to sideboarding. Blue-black Scam Shadow. So, what do I want? I think I just want a little bit more removal. I don't think this is necessarily a poor matchup, but I think the Feed the Swarms might be important against their like Death Shadow starts. They might have Baleful Strix. This is not ideal against Baleful Strix, but it's probably better than some of the other stuff I'm doing. I think I can cut an Agent because 3 mana cards just seem a little bit like a liability against these higher pressure decks with what's it called? Days. And I think I'm going to take a Thoughtseize because I think we're going to be pretty low on cards in hand throughout the game. I may be correct to leave the Agent in and just cut the last 2 Thoughtseizes. Let's do this. I think it's easy to fall behind on board, so I don't really want to hurt myself by introducing Monarch into the game. I don't... Plague Engineer might be okay, just chump blocking a Death Shadow because that's Death Touch. So some number of those might be better than Agent. Agent, I think, might be better on play at the very least because you can catch a fetch land pretty easily. And I don't think I want something like Torok. I just don't think the game's about that. I think if I had regular him to Torok, I would bring it in. So let's go with that. I would like to go first. And we have... Looks like a really good fair hand, which might be pretty well suited post board. So I'm going to keep. Also, mulliganing against Grief Scam is really poor. I'm going to lead on Wasteland here, and I'm just going to Swamp Cycle at the end of their turn. And then on turn 3, Castle Locked Wait will come in untapped. Wasteland. Misty. Fetch. Ponder. That's fine. Looks like they're a little landlight because they fetched the island into the Wasteland. Even though Wastelanding them on turn 1 is probably pretty bad, they still seem to be... Are they on a mulligan? Wow, are they on 4 cards? I'm just going to Swamp Cycle here. Go to my turn. I'm going to play the Swamp that we found. I think in their upkeep, I'm going to play Bowmaster. Or I can wait. I'll wait. I kind of want to play around Counterspell, but I think I might let them take an action. Like a Brainstorm. Since they're so low resources, they might be forced to do something. Or they're going to reanimate my guy. That is fine. I'm going to play around Daze by waiting until my turn to Edict. We're going to say yes here. And I'm going to deploy a clock. Combat. End step. Colorless. Black. Play a bow. Am I getting spell snared? Or are they just brainstorming? Oh, they're dazing me. Okay. That's fine. I will not pay 1. I will not pay 1. I don't know why it asks me twice. Upkeep. Swamp. I'm going to play the Swamp. And I'm going to... I'll hold up Wasteland. I'm just going to Edict them. Please sacrifice a non-token. And we're just going to go on from there. I think it's pretty nice here in this matchup to just kind of trade my resources off since they're on such a... I'm on the play, and they're on a very low mulligan. Next turn, I'll be able to play, because they're incentivized to play the island I know about to conceal information. I'm going to be able to resolve an opposition agent through a Daze. And stuff. Yep, go to my turn. Tap. Troll. Castle. And now I'm just gonna... I think I'm gonna hold the Troll at this point. I might cycle it on my turn just to get it out of my hand and play my 5th land so I can Activate castle. This is my turn, so I have to hurry up. Upkeep. I'm gonna opposition agent them, I think. Oh, they're gonna reanimate again. That is fine. I'm gonna play my 3/2. Black, black, black. Agent. And then I'm going to cycle this troll now, so I can play a land the following turn, because now I want to use this wasteland to hit their underground sea. Swamp. We're going to play that swamp they know about. I'm going to tap swamp castle because I'm not activating the castle this turn. I'm going to edict them again. Sacrifice a non-token, please. Might fight over this, I guess. They might balance the underground sea with the days now that I put a spell on the stack. Attack. I can get blown out by a bowmaster here, I think. But it doesn't look like it today. Main phase. I think I will choose to wasteland them here. Cut off their resources, because it looks like they struggled to hit that third land. I definitely made a mistake by not doing that before. They're bouncing this, which is fine. They might struggle to play the Brazen Borrower. Oh, there's a Delta. Okay, great. Good for them. They've one in hand. There's a Murktide Regent. I'm still at 20. And now there's 0 cards in hand when I'm going to be able to stick a Shieldred. Main phase. So I can play Shieldred or I can play Dothy Voidwalker. I think Shieldred cuts their outs a lot more, because then they can't even draw like a Ponder or Brainstorm or something. They're just going to die. Deploying 2/3 power creatures is tempting, but I think this one kind of just cuts to the chase and gives me the real prize. I'm going to yield it to my next step, because I only have 1 mana up. Okay, we can begin sideboarding. Going to game 3, I'm on the draw against Blue-Black Shadows Scam. Should probably look at these lists a little more, because I expect this to be played a lot more at the event. So, cut 2 seizes for 2 feeds. Yeah, it really makes me wish I had Dismember. Like the second copy of Dismember, at least. Yeah, it wouldn't change too much, so I'm just going to run it back. It might be correct to swap the Grief Seize numbers on the draw. What do we got here? An Edict, a Wasteland, a basic land, Bowmaster. I think I'm going to keep this. Okay, they're on the play. Yep, we're going to look. Delta. Ponder. I think we're both on a 7 here as well. I have a lot of lands as well, so I might. There's a part of me that wants to wasteland them here, but it's really just kind of ceding a lot of ground when I can wasteland them the next turn. They did not shuffle, so this turn 1 is really unimpressive out of me. Just gonna lead on my swamp. No actions today. Next turn I can ritual out Edict and Bowmaster though. This is threatening though, because it's threatening Dark Ritual Agent. Upkeep. They're fetching. Okay, so this is before I get my draw step, and they're trying to commit my mana around Dark Ritual Agent. So I'm gonna let them have this. They're probably gonna get an island. Second underground sea. Okay, draw. Second dark ritual. So this signals to me they have enough lands that they don't feel too threatened of getting wastelanded. So that's not a primary concern out of me right now. And I'm going to try and wait till play my Bowmaster. Basic Island. We're both playing the waiting game, which I think is kind of nice. Upkeep. Reanimate. Play the Wasteland here because they're not going to wasteland my Wasteland. So it's a pretty safe one. Still going to wait. Brainstorm. I think this is a bait, but I kind of feel compelled to take the bait. Because the reward is just a little too high. So I wonder how I'm supposed to play around that. I can reanimate my own Bowmaster too. I just wish I had something a little bit more to do with my mana. Yeah, this is definitely a bait that I played into, so I have to be careful about that because this trade doesn't go well for me. Their Brainstorm is not super great. There's no reason to do that unless they... Okay. Okay, so they can wasteland my wasteland here. Grief me. And they're hard casting the Grief. I'll let this happen. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in Plague Engineer and name Bowmaster here, or name Orc here. And then just trade it off with the Death Shadow. I think you take the Edict here because it has the most text. Took the Reanimate, okay. Because Reanimate gets back Bowmaster for pretty cheap. I will decline to block the army. Go to my turn. Okay. It's kind of nice. I think I'm supposed to possibly wasteland their wasteland here. So I can make 5 mana, play my 5, 6, 7, play my 8th. What does that let me all do? I think I'm supposed to play Castle at the very least. Use black, black, Orc. If they have blue card Force, they have blue card Force. I'll target Orcs. I'm gonna play... I think I'm supposed to just Edict the Grief here. Leave myself with double Dark Ritual. They'll probably Wasteland my castle, which is what makes me want to do Dark Ritual, Edict, Wasteland the Wasteland. So this way I get to keep the castle, which I think might be how I pull ahead in this game. So I think I'm going to do that. Sacrifice a non-token, please. Pay this mana. They might fight over this. I don't know why they wouldn't fight over the Bowmaster, though. So then I can Wasteland, Wasteland. Do I start clocking them back with my army? I think I'm supposed to. Yep, I'll lose the mana. If they play Wasteland, I'll be very disappointed. Oh, they're reanimating Grief. Okay, that's fine. Because they're only getting the Dark Ritual, which isn't the best. Wasteland for the castle. That is really bad for me. Okay. I was afraid of that. Second Wasteland and second Reanimate. Or their first Reanimate. Ooh, and the Murktide. Now I don't know how I get back into it. I guess... Yeah, it's out of Dismember range. Um, I'll decline. Swamp. Not attacking. Voidwalker. So that cuts off Takanuma as card advantage. I can pull back a Bowmaster, but I'm still not thrilled by what that means. Double block here, they get the Bowmaster under the Voidwalker, and they get to start pressuring me really hard. Can I afford to just take 3? I don't think I can. Not when I'm facing 6 that I can't really beat either. I need to draw, like, do this block, feed the Swarm off the top, hit the Voidwalker. Because I think I'm just so behind. Okay, reanimate. Reanimate their grief? Where does that get me? Reanimate their Bowmaster? Where does that get me? What did they exile to the Murktide? Not a much. Not much. So I think I'm gonna reanimate their Bowmaster, I guess. Kill the army. Play Taknum in the following turn. Almost dead. I'm dead to Bowmaster because they enter combat, put me to 1, Bowmaster me dead. I think my mistake was earlier when I blinked during the Brainstorm Bowmaster turn. Oh, maybe this is just a 5th Underground Sea. Kind of like how they played Steam Vents as a 5th. What's his face? I'm just going to concede. I think that's it. Definitely could have played that better, but mistakes happen. Hoping to go 3-2. Especially when it was so obvious. Alright, so I get to go first for once. 3 lands, Seize, Grief, Voidwalker. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to just Seize into Voidwalker, have a removal spell, hit my land drops. Might be too fair. I think on the play, I have a little bit more leniency with keeping a fair hand. They're on 6. Looks like they're stopping at 6. My upkeep, main phase, black sees you. Storm. So mana, ritual, ponder, beseech the mirror. Um, they can beseech right away, so I think I'm supposed to take that. I can take 2 cards. I can leave them with beseech to try and stick Voidwalker before they do anything with it. What is their best thing to beseech for? Leave them with a ponder, take a mana source. Take this, so this way they can't turn 1 Cabal Ritual into beseech. Oh, they can't do that anyway. Actually, they can. So they can go Volcanic Island, Chrome Mox, Exile, Ponder, Petal for black, use Petal, Mox, cast Ritual, Island, pay for the colorless, use the 3 black, beseech, sacrifice the Mox, leave them with Island. What do they find? Is that even good? What does that do? Put me to 10? No, it puts me to 12. So I think I take the Ponder here to keep them from proactive plays and just leave them with a bunch of the same stuff. And then turn 2, I will stick a Voidwalker, try and put Beseech under the Voidwalker so I can go search for, I guess, Shieldred? Or I'll search for Reanimate. I get to cast a discard spell next turn anyway, so I'll take the Ponder. Just click the reveal cards. Yield to my next end step. Alright, let's see if they cast Beseech on turn 1. I just don't think it accomplishes anything, but I don't know this deck very well. Okay. Upkeep, main phase. Dark Ritual. We're going to play Swamp because we're going to do that regardless. I can go Dark Ritual 4 mana, Grief. But the Edict is doing nothing in this game. So I think it's just going to be Walker, Grief them. Song of Creation. So I figured out what they do with Beseech, and it looks like they just accidentally drew their worst draw. Because I think there's only 1 copy, there might be 2. They cannot cast this very easily. Leave them with all mana in the song. Take Beseech. Definitely feel like I was punished for taking Ponder there and trying to put the Beseech under the Voidwalker, which might not even be good. Mox. They can put Song under it. They put Cabal Ritual under it. Flame Petal. So they have black, rainbow, blue, galvanic relay. That's pretty good. Burning Wish, relay, ponder. Swamp. So I can crack this to cast Beseech, go get Shieldred, Dark Ritual, Shieldred. I think that's good against this. Draw 2 cards every time they cast a spell. I don't think they're ever going to be able to get out of this because they're going to cast Ponder. They're going to take a draw step. And we know the contents of their hand. Beseech. This is just Diabolic Tutor. Otherwise, I'll get Shieldred, Dark Ritual, Shieldred. I'll yield to the next end step. I don't have anything to take, any actions to take. Notably, I did put the Beseech in their graveyard. I don't know if that'll matter. There's their Ponder. They're at 16. They're really low on mana. That's one thing about what I've been able to stop. 16. Opal. Lead. So they still have the Song in their hand. Burning Wish. They got Echo. Flashing back Echo. Okay. So, I don't... Okay. I won that game. Anyway, so this is where we bring in the Null Rods. I'm deciding if I want to bring in Surgical. It feels like a trap. It feels like the kind of thing that I see people do and it always feels wrong. I can bring out Dismember, though. I can bring out Shieldred's Edict. Definitely bring in these Null Rods. I might just bring in the Torok instead of the Edicts because Torok can kill them. Edict just feels like it's not going to do anything here. Torok, at least I can Dark Ritual into, or play early as a clock and then use Grief and Thoughtseize to make it larger. They might just discard cards on their own. I don't know off the top of my head if they do. This looks fine. Not bringing in the Surgicals. I don't think I want to fall for the Surgical trap. Oh, excuse me, this goes 9 o'clock. I already feel like I'm ready for bed. What does this hand have? As a turn 1 Thoughtseize, a turn 2 Bowmaster. If I ever draw a Dark Ritual, I can push out a Shieldred, and I ever reanimate if I ever draw Grief. I think I'm going to keep this one. It's not incredibly impressive, but I've seen much worse hands, and I think this is pretty good for a hand on the draw. Okay. Fetch, Underground Sea, Dark Ritual, Chrome Mox, Imprinting. Thoughtseize. So that's 4 black mana. They can Beseech to exile the Chrome Mox and free cast their Song of Creation, I guess. And this is very explosive, so there wasn't too much I could do. Especially since putting a Song of Creation into play is just really good for this deck. Paddle. So they have 5 mana. 3. 4. Looks like they might Beseech. Beseech, sacrificing the Chrome Mox. Face down card entered the exile zone. Sacrificing the Petal. Gaia's Will. Okay, cool. Beseech in the graveyard again. Don't know why. Playing the Petal. Playing the Chrome Mox. What are we exiling from hand? Abrupt Decay. Okay. Looks like a good that's a good answer for a Null Rod. Dark Ritual, 3 mana. 4 mana total with the Petal. Alright, second Beseech. Storm count is 10, so I think I'm dead to the Tendrils. That was cool. Okay. Good enough for me. All right, see if maybe that was a good reason to bring in surgical. Still feels like a trap, I guess, but maybe this is one of the only matchups where surgical's actually good. Um, I think I'm gonna keep those. Torok might be a little bit of a bad call. I'll leave the surgicals in. I still have a lot of threats. For Bowmaster, for Agent, for Voidwalker, for Grief, some Shield Treads. I'll do this. I'll surgical them. I'll go first. What do we got? That's okay. These would have been Turoks otherwise. I'll log. Ugh. Now this is just unreal. I'm on 6. They're keeping a 7. I feel like this is not disruptive enough. It's just 6 lands. I'll log in. Much better. I'll keep it. I think we're gonna put Shieldred on the bottom, Wasteland on the bottom, so I can play turn 2 Voidwalker, turn 3 Agent or Bowmaster. Hopefully I just draw a land for the Agent. I think I'm gonna kind of err towards the castable spells rather than trying to spike a Dark Ritual off top for the Shieldred. I easily could be punished here because this hand is still not fast enough. As you saw, I got turn 1 pretty easily and probably would have been turn 1 against Beseech in game 1 if I didn't get those Griefs and Thoughtseizes off. Very aggressive brainstorm here. This signals to me that either they're deliberately playing around Bowmasters this way, or they are very close to going off. Thoughtseize. Play my Swamp. I'm deciding if I want to play a Voidwalker or if I want to play a Bowmaster. Bowmaster is good against their Song of Creativity draws or any of their cantrips. Voidwalker's better against those Besiege Gaia's Will games. Voidwalker has some upside to untap with it versus Bowmaster, which tends to not. If I draw a third land, I might be able to, on my turn, Thoughtseize them, and then when they brainstorm, Bowmaster them. I think I'm just going to go with the Voidwalker here. I think it's a better card to establish early. But this could be wrong, considering how good the Shieldred was on their turn when they tried to go off game 1. But we'll see. That aggressive brainstorm kind of just tells me a lot more that I think I might just be dead here. Here's the Bloodstained Mire. So maybe they only wanted one of the cards. Or they only wanted to put back one of the cards. Here's the Abrupt Decay either way. So the Voidwalker had minimal damage. End step, draw land here. Double Thoughtseize. So that might be able to be disruptive enough. A lot of stuff going on in this hand. I think I'm going to double Thoughtseize them, take Burning Wish, Brainstorm, leave them with just a bunch of mana and a Ponder. So we're going to take the Burning Wish here. Brainstorm just lets them reset a lot of cards. They could have hidden things already, but here's the second seize. We're going to take, I think it's Brainstorm. Just gives them a lot of decisions. I'd really rather they not have that, even though I don't want them to have Ponder because it lets them look at a lot more cards. It lets them look at up to 4. Because if they look at the top 3, none of them are appealing. They can shuffle, find a fourth if they're looking for one thing in particular. I think their hand needs a little bit more than that for the Beseech to go off with. because they can't cast really Dark Ritual and Ponder at the same in the same turn with this setup, unless they want to eat the Lotus Petal. I feel like I missed the opportunity to make good use of Bowmaster as well here, which is a shame. Um, I don't know about any cantrips in their hand now, so I think I might just play the Voidwalker so they have a more difficult time using the Gaia's Will here because they can't cast Ritual, Petal, and then Gaia's Will, Ritual, Petal again to have a bunch of mana. I'm going to try and choke their mana a little bit. They have 3 Mysteries in hand now, though. The card from Ponder and 2 draw steps. It's been 2 turns since we've seen their hand. What could they have? Whatever they have, it's a lot of resources in hand. I'm hoping to hit the 3rd land by the time they try to go for Beseech, because it means the opposition agent can steal the Beseech. Not only do they not get the card off of it, but or not only do I get what they find off of it or what I want to find off of it, but I get all the information and they don't get the card. Here's the Dark Ritual. I'm assuming second Dark Ritual's coming. Red, Cabal Ritual. Oh, I wonder if the Voidwalker cut off their Cabal Ritual there because they couldn't hit the 7th card. So it really choked their mana. So there's that Beseech I mentioned. They still have a Dark Ritual in their hand. I think they're going to find the Song here. Yeah, there it is. Additional land where we cast a spell, draw 2 cards. There's that last ritual. I'm just going to yield through the turn. I don't have anything to do. It's kind of a bad signal because now they know I don't have a surgical. Okay, so they're going to their end step and discarding all the cards to exile because I guess they ran out of gas. Tendrils in exile, Beseech. A lot of mana. Abrupt Decay. They just came up empty. I think this was a better choice because it really made that Cabal Ritual not generate a bunch of mana. Wow. And it cut off the Beseech from being able to find anything good with the guy as well. Go to my turn. Keep draw a swamp. So now I get to I think I want to keep the Voidwalker in play. I think I'm going to play this. And I think I'm just going to start attacking. I get to hold up Bowmaster and Agent. Petal. So I think I'm going to Bowmaster here, deal them 3 off of this. Put some to 12. I think this might just be better than... Yep. As long as I don't accidentally click my Bowmaster like I almost did. So they're going to get those 2 cards. They're going to get the Petal. There's the Bayou. So there's their first land. There's 2 cards off Song. Yeah, this might be a problem for them because a lot of their deck is going to be things like Brainstorm and Ponder, and this Bowmaster is really going to pressure them hard. And if they don't win this turn, the Orc Army is probably going to kill them. They need to find an Abrupt Decay, though, which we've seen in their deck, and they can cast off Taiga Bayou. That'll enable them to continue to go off. So they're at 9 now. There's the Opal. 2 more Bowmaster triggers. They're at 7. Now you can see they're dead via combat at least. Burning Wish. I wonder if they're going to get Engineered Plague. Well, they can. It's a sorcery. What are they going to get? Tendrils? Storm counts 5. Grape Shot. Grape Shot can kill the Bowmaster. They're at 4. Looks like they might be running out of mana. I'm not certain. Volcanic. Lotus Petal? Because the Opal doesn't do anything. This is also an awkward spot where they have to Grape now, but then they're cutting themselves even further off Metalcraft. Oh, this is interesting. They're stacking their triggers in a way that these storm triggers are going to kill the Bowmaster before they draw the cards off the song, which is just really good sequencing. And they targeted me with the original Grape Shot. So this, and I've already yielded because I can't do anything about this. Oh, they're graping me? Unless the first copy just targeted the Bowmaster. Yeah, there's the Bowmaster one. It's interesting they didn't point any of them at Voidwalker. Unless they just have enough resources that they can go off. Second Opal, just draw 2. I'm going to yield through the turn now. Okay, this one's close. Okay, so now they have enough mana with the Lion's Eye Diamonds in play to make blue with the Opal. Putting 2 back with the Brainstorm, they're going to cast off of this Lotus Petal. 16 cards in deck. There's no way I'm not dead. Unless they've accidentally drawn Tendrils already. And they can't crack the diamonds now, or else they discard the Tendrils. They could have drawn Burning Wish, though. Yeah. Now they can crack the Lion's Eye Diamonds in response. Draw 2, get the Tendrils. Tendrils me. That's a good game. It was pretty close. Looks like it's another 2-3. What a shame. Such a strong start, and then such a weak finish. Played 3 games, though. What is this? 50 play points? Still not sure what those do. Okay. Close that. Use this. Okay. All in all, still really like this deck. Probably going to play it. Own almost all the cards. I wonder if there's something else I can do to add to the deck. I keep trying to think of any creatures I might have overlooked. I'd really like to get a 5-0 before Eternal Weekend, but considering the pass expires tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to be able to. Want the other removal spell, but might be better not having it. 1 mana removal spell just feels really nice. Do I have anything else that can let me play sooner? I wanted to play some number of snuff outs, but just for more free spells and early interaction. But I think at this point I might just need something to recoup cards, it feels like, or have a little bit more selection. It's tough to say. I'm going to keep looking at other decks. I saw some people are playing the Soul Lands with Exsanguinator Cavalry. I don't know if that card's on Moto. Exsanguinator? It is. Okay. What's this card? It's a 3-mana 2/3 Menace Lifelink. Whenever a knight you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and create a blood token. Definitely ordering a set of these in case. I don't know where it would go, and I think it's likely a lot worse without the Ancient Tomb, probably Lotus Petals set up. I would have to look at those deck lists again. In order to maintain aggression, I might want to play some number of this. It's Very good at racing. The lifelink is really something I'm looking for. Menace, just another threat that's difficult to block. I don't know where it would go in the deck. I could go a little lower on Shieldreds. I could go a little lower on some other stuff. Like maybe I can increase the number of Feed the Swarms in my sideboard, cut the main deck Dismember, somehow work Snuff Outs in, put some Snuff Outs in my sideboard so I have another efficient removal spell in place of Dismember, because I'm not too keen on Dismember's life payment. It does hit a lot of things in the format, so maybe I will just keep a single copy in the main. But maybe going a little lower on Shieldred in the main, just go down to 2 copies instead of 3. Trying to fit these Exsanguinator Cavalries in. Because this is a card I'm kind of interested in. I might test it the next time I play the deck, whenever I play the deck in paper. Um, so, because originally I was on 3 Shieldred's Edict, because it was probably the best removal spell I had access to, outside of something like very specific, like Snuff Out or Dismember. Dismember is probably second best. Snuff Out is just misses too many things. If this is a matchup that I'm thinking I'm going to be playing more often than not, I think Snuff Out has a lot of liability, a lot of opportunity cost that I'm really just not willing to foot. It misses some number of things. It's probably not great against Blue Black Scam. It's probably good against the other decks. It doesn't hit Bowmaster, which might not be a big of a problem because I can hit Bowmaster myself. Um, but I really think I just kind of want a threat like this that's um, really good at racing. I think this might be important in a matchup that is about racing, which seems like it could be the mirror. Seems like it could be these Murktide decks, Murktide Scam, etc. Shieldred definitely is an MVP in those matchups, like very impressive. Just Dark Ritualing this out is still pretty good. I was able to do it on against Goblins. Goblin Lackey couldn't attack through Deathray Shaman. Goblin Lackey certainly can't attack through Shieldred either. It seems like the best card to bail me out of some awful spots, but being 4 mana is really kind of a very cumbersome in spots where I really need my cards to be playable a little sooner. 3 mana is really uh, not too much better, but it's easier to cast on turn 3 off of just Swamp, Swamp, Swamp. And the fact that 3 mana is a flashpoint for Dark Ritual as well is really something that matters. So I might do this, go down a little bit more on removal. I might try and work some more removal into the sideboard so I can board up on it. There were some matchups where it just wasn't really, I had like a little too much. The Edict is so powerful though that I'm really not too sad to see it ever. I want to draw it probably more often than not. But when I'm under pressure from creatures, I think a nice Menace lifelink creature that grows and gives me a little selection with the blood could just be as good. I think 20 lands, 4 trolls still might be a little high. I didn't have trouble hitting land drops though, which is nice. It might be 20 lands plus 4 trolls might be high if I was doing anything without Wasteland, but with Wasteland, it might be a little more uh, beneficial to err on the side of too many than too few. Too many lands also is a little fixed with if I gain access to blood tokens from Exsanguinator Cavalry then, because I can start filtering. So, yeah, so that's where my thoughts are right now. Really interested in this lifelink creature. The more I look at this card, the more I think about it, the more I think that this might just be something this deck really wants. I definitely want all 4 because they're so good in multiples. Opposition Agent is a card that is interestingly not good in multiples, so I could see myself going down to 3. So I see 1 per game, but don't ever see 2, or don't often see 2. It makes my first copy a little more valuable, so I'm less likely to exile it to a grief. And this like utility 3-drop with 3 Plague Engineers in the sideboard, I really like that kind of the way that looks. 3 oppositions in the main, 3 engineers in the sideboard. I kind of had that going on with my initial builds of the Chain of Smog deck. So I just really like being able to switch them, even though they're often good in the same matchups, but it just looks good. Feels good to me. So maybe I just do this. Bring in 4 cavalries because it's just a really good aggressive creature. This slants my deck being more aggro, but I think that's where I want to be in this format. Um, Not interested in Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb though lets me offset this damage, or the two damage from the Ancient Tomb lets me offset, or I can offset it with the lifelink from the cavalry, which is it's this looking a lot better. Like more and more, the more I kind of look at this card and like the Ancient Tombs in the deck, the more I'm thinking about it. I'll have to I'll have to think about that a little bit more. I want to compare to the lists from Eternal Weekend in Asia this weekend. Cut these. Yeah, because I really like Children's Edict. I think 4 copies in the main is almost not debatable because it's just so broadly good. It's as I saw today, it was a card I really wanted in a matchup, in every matchup almost. And then it makes like hard casting these a little more palatable. If I have Ancient Tombs, I can cut the Takenuma. 4 Ancient Tombs in the deck might also count enough. Lets me cut this. The Wastelands become a little more suspect at that point. I'll have to think about that because then I don't want 8 colorless lands in my deck. But I really do think I want this Cavalry. Yeah, the more I'm looking at, the more I'm thinking about how it works in the deck, the more I'm really into that. So then I can cut these. How's this looking? Hmm. Probably bum the Ancient Tombs. Ancient Tombs and the Rods. If I do well, I'll get my own set. The thing about Ancient Tomb is it doesn't help me kick Torok, but that might just be the cost of doing business. I wonder if that pushes me towards putting a single Urborg in the deck as well. Just over a swamp to make the Ancient Tombs have an like an out to not damaging me on the off chance that I don't have Shieldred or Cavalry to recoup the life. Hmm. Yeah, Shieldred with Blood tokens, I get to do the Pioneer synergy, but with the really good Blood card from, what is this, March? Marcher Machine? Hmm. I think it was a pretty good league, even if it was another embarrassing 2-3. There were definitely mistakes I made that I was able to identify. I don't know if I'll be able to identify them in the moment while I'm playing, but really hope I can play a league with the Cavalry. I'm trying to figure out when the access token goes away. Store. (10 a.m. on November 27th, which I believe is tomorrow. Unfortunate. I can. I think I can start. Can I start? I think I can start a league, the token expire, and then I'm able to finish it. So it's a shame I'm not going to be able to wake up early enough to do this. So what does Ancient Tomb actually get me? I don't have Lotus Petals, so the best I can do is turn 2 Exsanguinator Cavalry, which is pretty good, but still might be a little late. Hmm. It's got to be good enough, though, because then you start attacking on turn 3. But I can Dark Ritual it out as well, so I guess if Opposition Agent without Ancient Tomb is good enough, Cavalry without Ancient Tomb is probably good enough as well. Children without Ancient Tomb is good enough. Good enough, I guess, is a little subjective here because 2-3 is not terribly impressive. So at that point, begs the question of is that good enough? I also want to go back up to 20 lands, I think, at that point. Maybe just go down to 3 trolls. I don't really like that. I really like troll just be able enabling reanimate because otherwise I'm kind of low on stuff to enable reanimate with. I have Thoughtseize their thing, but I think I might try this. I might try this. See what happens. I wonder if they have a new blood token. Can I look at? Can I look up tokens? Is this going to give me card text? Is. Oh, that's the entirety of Crimson Vow, so I'm not going to look at that. Where's uncollectible? Tokens. Blood. Nope, they all look the same. That's a bummer. There's 200 play points, I guess, now. That's really not great. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. I wonder if my sideboard's good enough. Is court really where I want to be? I think it is. I think since it introduces the Monarch, I'm just very hesitant to board it in or put it into play. And I think I might have to just lose that fear. I'm going to use play points. I'm going to try this. So I'm going to lock in the league right now. I'm going to see if I'm able to continue to play this league tomorrow after the access token expires. And I think I'm just going to call it there tonight. Playing MTGO is still so much more stressful than Arena, where I can kind of play leisurely. And I'm very tired from the day and the weekend. So I think I'm just going to call it there. Thank you for watching as I explore my deck for Eternal Weekend and figure out what I'm going to do and play all of these swamps. So, everyone, have a good night. And thanks for coming by.